Somebody say something so I know I can hear you.
I hear you.
Oh, there you are.
I
Okay.
can
Good
hear you.
afternoon, everybody.
Hi. You got any snow up
Good
there yet?
afternoon.
Oh, yeah, right. It was like 7 degrees when I got up this morning. Just, thanks for that.
Well, it is almost September.
Well, the leaves are turning.
Yeah.
The sad story, though, that a calf and a cow got killed on just up the road from me yesterday, which is not good. How does somebody hit 2 moose in one fell swoop? I don't know. And she walked away.
Well,
How's everybody doing?
We're doing good in Peterborough.
hello, Clarence.
It's getting some life.
Good.
We were 16 degrees this morning, hot and muggy. Holy cow.
Wow. That almost makes me feel like I'm in the Arctic.
Where are you, Nancy?
I am 45 minutes north of Huntsville.
You know where North Bay is? Clarence?
Oh, I go there all the time. Yeah, my
Yeah.
wife's
Well,
brother lives there.
yeah, you'd pass Nancy on the way there.
Oh yeah, we vacation in what's where the Army station is just south, North Bay.
Calendar.
Where the Army base is there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's there's the base in North Bay.
Oh, what's the town just south of north, south of Calendar even, right? Stuff off 11 on the right, going north on the right hand side. There's stuff. Anyways, a little
sure.
lake there, Ruby. We vacationed on that on and off. But anyway, we know the area.
We're just waiting for some more people who are signing in, and then we're going to get started.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ashraf here.
Hello, Ashraf. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Scott. How are you?
Great. We're going to learn a lot from all you people today. I'm ready to learn.
Oh, just while it's quiet. Herbert, you were talking to Samir?
Who?
Yeah, okay. Good.
Oh.
Okay, a few more coming.
Yeah, he's been great. I've been actively talking to Samir, so we're all good.
Awesome. He's a good guy.
Shell, how are we looking there?
Finally got a little lull. I'm sure more people will join, but that's
Okay.
all for right now.
All right, 1:02 on my clock, so let's get going. Question is going to be, what is this market going to do? Everybody know? So we can end the call? Right? You guys all know. Don't you? All right. What do you think it's going to do? I want to hear some answers before I tell you what it's actually going to do.
Well, our showings are picking up even though, and we're getting more listings coming available right now over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So
Okay.
obviously the inventory is there and everybody's assuming that with the interest drop, that maybe they'll get off the fence and start going, I'm hoping.
Okay. Yep, that's a good observation. Any other thoughts? Yeah, Nancy?
I feel like after Labor Day, it might start picking up again. I feel like it's been very, very stagnant in the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's actually incredibly frustrating. But I feel like after Labor Day, when people get back into routine, that things might start going back on an uphill.
Okay. This year you have
Yeah, I've been showing properties in Kitchener-Waterloo area. I have 9 listings I have to show on Sunday. The client sent me those MLS numbers on Tuesday or something, and I started booking them. 3 or 4 of them are sold. one increased their price from $699 to $865. So obviously was waiting for the price, offer date. So we're not gonna see. So now I have four homes to show them on Sunday. So out of 9, again, 2 or 3 sold, 1 or 2 changed the prices. So there's a lot of activity in Waterloo, Kitchener area right now.
Okay.
People are buying. But I don't see the same activity here in GTA.
Fair enough. Any other comments? Okay. Here is what is going to happen. After 44 years in real estate, I think I might have figured it out. Okay. Simple supply and demand, right? The last 2 months is a typical summer in real estate. You have people that in the spring were unsure of what the market was going to do. So the easiest decision is no decision. Okay. You have then summer comes along, and typical summer in real estate is not what we saw during 2020, 2021, and 2022. Normal summer months, unless you're in resort areas, are typically slower. Most of the buyers are dealing with family holidays, dealing with kids in programs, and buying and selling real estate is not on the radar. Okay. Usually in mid-August, you start seeing them come back into reality a bit. Some of it is still getting kids organized, either university or where they're going to go to school. But you will start, and I've already seen it, where there's an uptake in inquiries. There's more activity. You start seeing some places that were sitting on the market for a long period of time, all of a sudden sell. Okay. I'm seeing that already. Now, add into the fact that when we do get everybody back in a routine, you are going to see an increase in listings. You're going to see an increase in buyer activity, especially when they reduce the rate one more time, okay, on September 4th. You are now seeing people that were sitting on the fence in the spring who now have 3/4 or will have 3/4 of a percentage point lower than where they were at the beginning of the year. So their buying power is better. Prices are level. Okay. There are opportunities out there right now that buyers should be looking to take advantage of because of with the anticipation of the interest rate in September coming down again. Their buying power has increased, yet prices have not. Great opportunity for buyers. And we are seeing buyers, at least I am, who were wishy-washy are now going, we want to be in something before the end of the year. Okay. Anybody else seeing that? Anybody else getting those calls where people were, yeah, we're not quite ready. We're not quite ready. Now it's like, you know what? We want to get in before the end of the year. Okay. Couple things to look at is why is that happening? Why are people starting to feel comfortable about what the market's doing? Any thoughts? You guys are all smart people. Must have had one thought or two. Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing that people have a little bit more confidence coming back in the market.
Right. Okay. I'm going to share something with you. This is a report that came out, a recent report from Wealth Simple, and it talked about the actual new perspective of Canada's economic health. Okay. Because you have people that were always saying, well, the economy is not good. The economy is not good. It's unstable. Interest rates are high. Now interest rates have started coming down. So I'm going to share some information with you. Well, Canada's GDP per capita seems unimpressive compared to the US, and that's usually who Canada's economy is compared to, is the US, okay? Canada actually aligns more closely with other wealthy nations. The US has significantly outpaced many countries, including Canada, so it skews the perception of what Canada's economy is. So in a global comparison, excluding the US, Canada's GDP per capita is very competitive, okay? So the economic output per person is consistent with other affluent countries, okay, not compared to the US. The stock market, okay, underperformed relative to the S&P 500, but it actually fared comparably well to other global stock markets, okay? The issue is that in Canada, we do not have the high tech companies. We do not have the big performers of tech. And that's where the United States stock markets do, okay? So they outperform because of the technology. Interesting is that in Canada, we actually don't have a strong R&D, but we actually have a very strong workforce in research and development compared to other world countries. So the opportunities here, and we are seeing it. There are companies that are expanding and relocating or doing additional expansion in Canada that are global companies, okay? So when you look around the world, excluding the US, other countries look at Canada as a very opportune country for education, manufacturing. They're looking at the talent that we have here in the workforce. So you are seeing international companies come into Canada, and there are more coming. So what that tells me is when I look and read that, you have interest rates that are coming down. You have people that were sitting on the fence going, okay, we're not sure where the economy is going. We're not sure what's going on. Now you have all these three factors coming in. We are heading into a very strong market, okay? Very balanced, but very strong. So what you have to look at is what are the things that people are looking at in the sense of where do they see Canada doing? Well, over the next 2 years, based on the survey here, they see Canada growing 24, rest of 24, 25, and into the beginning of 26. Okay, so what you have to look at is the survey also questioned, how do they see this economic growth? What's it going to do to the housing market? An overwhelming percentage of the respondents actually felt that now would be the right time to buy because prices will be higher within the next year to 18 months. And that is consumers' projection. Okay. So what do you do with that information? Well, we're now seeing that showings are increasing. We're now seeing offers and sales are happening. Okay. People are getting off the fence. So what that tells me is you as realtors, you need to get back, if you're not doing it right now, being way more consistent with your marketing, with your communication, and the word that all of you hate, your prospecting. Okay? Because right now, the next 6 months, you have a great opportunity of doing very well if you are consistent on a daily basis with doing your communication. Okay. If you don't communicate or you do it in a very relaxed manner, what I mean by that is you just send out a bunch of emails or you post something on social media and you do not interact, you do not try and engage with people, you will fail. Simple as that. I'm going to tell you that now. Okay? But if you do commit and you do get out there and you do communicate, you have a really good opportunity of doing very well. Okay? I have seen this market many times in my career. The factors are really good. And right now is the time you need to get out there and you need to be communicating, because it is, and it will be, when you look back at the end of February, if you start now, the next 6 months are going to be a really good marketplace. If you're working, okay? Deals are already happening. Now, ideally, you want to look at having some inventory. Look at ways that you can add inventory. What I mean by that is getting listings, talk to people about selling, okay? Prospect for sellers. Sellers will normally not, unless you really hit it right on, they will not usually say, hey, I'm ready to go right now. They take time to get ready, okay? But you have to have those conversations. You start having conversations now. I already had a conversation with somebody, said, Scott, we just want to start getting ready. We're looking at listing in the spring. Okay. So you need to have those conversations now. Remember, spring market, depending on where you are in Ontario, starts as early as the 1st of February. Okay. So the market is going to rise. Prices are going to increase. So what do you do with that? Well, I'd be calling every investor that I've known and just let them know this is what we see. Okay. Investors will look right now, and I already know of some that are getting back into the marketplace. And they're basically saying, we know that when the interest rates fall, now projections are, okay, that by July next year, our interest rate will be down to 3%. So imagine that, okay? Interest rates are going to fall by this time next year, they'll be down around 3%. What does that do to a consumer's buying power? Remember, consumers buy based on how much per month am I actually spending. They don't know, they just go, hey, I've got $2,000 a month that I know I can put towards principal and interest. What does that get me? That number won't change. What changes is their buying power. So now, instead of being able, and I just had this on an offer, on a listing that I had, people that put an offer in back in May came back with $25,000 more just because the interest rates fell, because they were able to qualify for more mortgage. They didn't care what the end price is. It's just, this is what I can afford. This is the mortgage it's going to get me. This time next year, that's going to be stronger, which means prices are going to go up. Nancy, question?
Yeah, the thing that worries me is if an educated consumer or buyer, whatever, know the same information that you do, that interest rates are going to go down next summer, are they going to buy in the fall? Like, I am getting no showings on my listings.
Okay. So the easiest way to answer that question is, if you know based on interest rates falling, prices going up, why not buy then either with a variable? And if you actually talk to a lot of mortgage people, people are now in the last 30 days are taking a variable rate mortgage with the anticipation that they're going to fall.
Okay,
Interest rates will fall.
that makes sense. When you, well, yeah, okay, when you say it like that, that makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So where I believe everybody should be starting to market is talking about this, talking about the fact what happens with prices when people's buying power is stronger. Will they go up? Right? So look at marketing to that. Start talking about that. Start posting about that. You know, it's always is, you want to get it. I literally was talking with somebody yesterday. Actually, it was Dustin and I were having a conversation. And it's interesting, during our conversation, we talked about just this idea of what the market is doing. And the smart people, the ones that basically are, you know, have the money per se, they're buying, they're looking at getting back into the marketplace. And it's, you know, the reason is they know this time next year when interest rates fall, the best time to buy is when nobody's buying. Best time to sell and is when everybody is buying. So today, over the next, I'm not saying over this, from now to the end of the year, is going to be a really good time for people to buy. Okay. And it's just because of the factors of internationally, Canada is looked at as being a very stable environment. Strong economic growth is coming. Interest rates are falling. Immigration is increasing. Doesn't take much to understand it. All that's happening. We are going to have the media 3 or 4 months from now look back and go, wow, did you see how strong that fall market was? We know it's going to be. So you've got to get out and you've got to start working on that. You've got to start telling people about that and explaining why. Okay. Why is the factor? Why is this? Why is that going? You have to be the conduit of the information to build that trust, right? You got to build that trust before they'll do business with you. So, you know, use third-party information. Use like this. I just took off the internet. This is a survey, a company that I follow, and they always put out economic forecasts. If you want to use something, Benjamin Tull just recently did just a little bit of a webcast talking about what the market is doing. He's already projected that next spring prices will be higher. Interest rates will be low, prices will be higher. And the reason is twofold. The United States just came out and said they are now going to lower their interest rates. Canada will follow. Our inflation rate is projected to be about 2.1% next year. Okay. So what happens in that avenue is that Bank of Canada doesn't care where the interest rates are. They use the interest rates to bring in inflation under control. In the States, they're lowering their interest rates because they want to fast track their economy. They want to get it going again. And they know the way to do that is get people to start spending. So you've got to bring the interest rates down. Canada is going to follow. Okay. I have seen it before. And this is exactly the perfect storm. I always try to buy my properties in the fall or December. Okay. Reason is there are people that right now will be in situations that they need to sell. Condo market in the GTA, for instance, there's great opportunities. Julia will tell us. There are great opportunities if you're looking for an investment property right now. Julia, are the rental rates still pretty strong in the condos?
I just put one on the market the other day. I find that they're down a bit.
Okay.
Less competition. I haven't had this time of year should have a lot of people going through, but I'm not getting a lot, and mine's priced really well. I wanted to go higher, but she didn't want to go any higher.
Okay. But still, there's still activity in the rental market and
yeah, there's activity. I am seeing things stay on the market in some areas.
Right. But I have noticed that there's some great opportunities for places that were much higher priced in certain buildings, definitely reduced and come much lower.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so what happens is even if the rental rate came down a little bit, that larger drop in the prices well makes up for just a little bit less rent. So it's actually a better marketplace now. And you can certainly find that in other communities as well. I know when I was talking to Gotten, and he's basically has different investors that are looking outside to the GTA because the amount of properties that you can actually buy that have positive cash flow with 20% down. Right? So just don't look in your own backyard, look throughout Ontario when you're trying to promote to an investor. Yeah, Callum, question.
I just want to make a comment. We do property management,
Yeah,
Waterloo region, and we have seen the price have softened on rentals.
Okay.
And not as many people looking at it as they did before. So there's not as many people looking. People seems to be a little tight with the money.
okay,
So they're being careful, and some people can't afford to move because the rents where they're gonna move are gonna be a little higher than where they are. So
Yeah.
that's kind of adding to that problem of not moving because they can't afford to move to a new place. So it makes activity a little softer, and the rents have softened a bit.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, Callum, those rental properties,
Mhm.
have the valuations come down at
Yes,
all?
yeah,
Okay, so
Yes.
if an investor was looking at buying today,
Yeah.
they may get a little bit less rent, but how much percentage-wise lower would the pricing be if they versus a year ago?
but something a bungalow, let's say we're looking at normally investor, what works in this region is single homes not gonna work. So we look at a bungalow with a secondary suite.
Yeah.
So that price was around, in the peak, around 950. The lowest end would have been 850. Today, they're around 7 to 750.
Okay,
Dropped quite a bit in price, but the rents maybe softened like $50 a month. So if they
Okay.
were getting for a 2-bedroom, you were getting say 18, 19, 19 and a half, you might be getting 17 and a half to 18. So it's not a huge drop in rent, but the prices have come down quite a bit.
So
So
then-
it's still a greater market for a
So-
rental.
absolutely. So here's my suggestion to everybody. Okay, find a scenario just like Callum just explained and start marketing that to the investors. Right? You just came up with a situation where Mr. or Mrs. Investor, in the peak, this is what they were going for. This is what the rents were. Today, that pricing has dropped substantially down to here, yet the rents have only softened off a little bit. As promoting that to an investment community, that's a win.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
So-
definitely, yeah.
Right? So Callum, I would think you should take that scenario and put it as a post, put it out to social media, put it out to your database and just say, hey, just wanted to let you know.
Yeah.
Right? There's an opportunity in the marketplace.
Yeah, so like the prices are down, I would say somewhere around 150,000 on property, same property that was a couple of years ago in the peak time.
Yeah. So if someone said to me, hey, I'm gonna give you $50 or $100 less a month, but you're gonna save 150,000 in a purchase price,
Oh, yeah,
right?
it's a great
Let's-
time for
yeah.
investment for property.
Right? Real estate's a long-term game. Okay, so the peak values, they will come back. It might take 5 to 7 years, they will be back. And we're gonna go past that. Okay, you're talking to a guy that in 1980, I was selling townhouses in Mississauga for $45,000 and people thought that was ridiculously high. Because they paid 25,000 for them when they were new in 70. Do you think I wish I bought all those townhouses I sold for $45,000? Right? So 10 years from now, someone's going to be looking back and going, I wish I would have got into the market in the fall of 2024. Right? That's what you have to portray. That's what you have to promote. You've got to use graphs. Okay. Right? You've got to use graphs. You've got to look at the projections and show graphs and use third-party endorsements. That's how you gain the trust of the consumer. Okay. You don't tell them, you show them, give them the tools that they can actually go, I understand now. Right? Okay. Next spring, in May-ish, probably around May, June, people are going to look back and go, I wish I would have bought in the fall of 2024. Prices are going to be higher. Okay. So that's what you need to promote. You need to be able to market to that. You need to show that you are the expert on that. Our real estate boards, Korea, gives us all kinds of things to project and show what's going on. You don't even have to go as far, just look at different, economists and just, as long as you say, hey, this is from such and such, use that. Okay. The market is strong. It's going to get stronger because of the confidence, because of lower interest rates, because you're going to hear how good the United States is going, Canada's going to follow, but you need to be working. You need to be consistent. Okay. Am I crazy in my thoughts? You think so? Now, you don't all have to jump at the same time. I'm glad all of you didn't say, yeah, we think you're nuts. So that's a good sign. But the idea is that you got to be consistent, right? You've got to look at what you do daily in this business. Every day matters. Okay. The ones that do it consistently, whatever that is, but you have to make sure that it's interactive. Okay, you have to have communication back and forth. We were in a meeting, a few of us were in a meeting the other day, and we talked about social media. And one of the things that, we were all talking about is, people post, people tell stories, people put out information. That's great. But the reason it's called social media is because you have to interact. If all you're going to do is just post, you're not going to comment on anything else, you need to be able to communicate. Nothing gets done until you start having a two-way conversation, a two-way text. You have to be communicating. And if you're on social media, that means you have to comment. Don't just comment, okay? And start commenting on other stuff. Make sure you're communicating. And that doesn't matter what you're doing. You have to communicate. You got to be consistent. You got to plan it. Michelle, you have your hand up.
No, actually, I'm clapping for you.
Oh, thank you. There you go. See, I don't know. I didn't know that one. I thought you were asking a question. Anyway, so based on all that, what are you going to do this? What are you going to do today that's going to allow you to take advantage over this next 6 months? What are some ideas? What are you doing now? Maybe someone can share, like, what are you doing now? Nancy?
I think social media, what you're saying is absolutely right. And Michelle would totally agree. I'm involved with the social media groups in the area. Like What's Up Sunridge, What's Up Kearney, like all of these things. And I actually have a listing appointment on Monday from somebody who called me and said, I see you're really active in the social media groups. And I have a listing appointment just from that.
Because you engaged.
Because and just in the public, like it wasn't even anything specific.
Yeah, great. Okay. What else can you do? What else can you do?
Well, you gotta reach out to your database. I mean, if you have a large database of people, calling them is gonna be the key in letting them know, hey, this is what we're predicting. This is what we're gonna be seeing in the fall. do you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell, or are you looking to buy and sell, and start having that conversation with these people?
Yeah. So first thing that I would do is make sure you are comfortable about what you are going to be communicating. Okay. Do your research. We talked about, with Colin, we talked about a situation where it is, telling a scenario about where the market is going to go, sharing that scenario of saying, hey, this is what took place. This is where it's going, with looking at projections from Korea, from economists, right? So you need to practice what your message is going to be and how you're going to communicate that and support the reasoning before you go out and start doing it. Okay. It's great to say, I'm just going to post this, but you need to plan it. You need to have a way of communicating to your database. If you don't have a database, communicating to people that are in Facebook groups. Make sure you are joining Facebook groups that are things that you're passionate about. Okay. It doesn't have to be real estate, but you have to get engaged with communication. Okay. Everybody, I don't care what the market's doing, it is the question. You have to gain the trust of your client, right? I used third-party people. I used third-party situations. I communicated with my client at their level, how they would expect to be communicated with, how they're more comfortable being communicated with, right? So as you're doing your prospecting, as you're doing your follow-up to your database, as you're doing communication with people in the community, okay, do your research. Make sure you have something to talk about, because everybody always wants to know what's going in the marketplace. They all have the ability to click on the internet and get all, just as my client, okay? If he researched and found the stats from the local real estate board, he's done his research, okay? Consumers have the ability to do the research. The person they're going to do the business with is the one that can communicate with them and gain their trust. That's what real estate is. It's communicating with as many people as you can, knowing what your topic is, knowing what's going on in your community. That's how you win business. Okay. By the way, they're signing the listing contract tomorrow. So, anyways, any more comments just on sort of the idea of the communication and, and great points. Thank you for those comments. But absolutely, you have to do your research. You have to be, you don't know when you're going to be walking down the street and they're going to go, oh, hey, yeah, real estate, right? Yeah. What's going on in the market? You get it all the time. Right? So make sure you're up to date on what's going on in your communities. Get involved in the community. You heard Nancy getting involved, and she's got something coming from. So people, if you don't have a database, make sure you get involved with community events. Get involved with online social media groups. Yeah, Nancy.
I think the other thing too is that's really important when you come across a buyer is knowing what is kind of available. When people say, oh, did you see that house at 123 Main Street? Oh yeah, I did see that come online, and I do know that it needs new flooring and it needs windows. Or did you see the house on 50 Main Street? Like, I think it's really good to know your neighborhood too, and know what is available in your neighborhood.
Yeah, you have to be, if you're in real estate as a realtor, you need to know what's going on. So some of it is just getting on the computer. Your local boards every day will publish what's sold, what's conditional. Make sure you put in your time to do the research. Years ago, before we had all this fancy internet stuff, we actually used to go around on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, where the realtors would actually hold open houses for other realtors to go through the properties and physically drive around and go do it. Right? Now with the invention of the internet and all the photos and tours and things like that, agents get lazy, unfortunately, and don't actually go see properties. Do yourselves a favor, get out and look at properties. Okay? That's, one thing always, to know the market, get out and see places. Yeah, any other comments? Okay,
Thanks, Scott, I'll say, you hear me?
yeah,
Yeah, is that apparel, and nobody does that anymore with our really executive jackets or shirt or something. It's I have never met anybody who doesn't think they know more about real estate than I do. So everybody wants to talk about real estate, like you were just saying.
yeah,
And one way they know that you're in real estate is because you got your jacket on or shirt. That
Yeah.
never hurts.
yeah, don't be a
It has
secret
and
agent,
never will hurt.
right? Don't be a secret agent.
Yeah.
You're in the business of communicating with consumers. Right? Oh, now you've raised your hand? Okay, Michelle.
Yes. Just to add to that, because I think that's a great point, and I know that we should all have our pins with us. I know Nancy does the apparel. Kelly Blair always gets her team in the winter hats and jackets. But we actually have an apparel shop with Vistaprint Pro Shop. So you all get a free account with Vistaprint Pro Shop if you haven't already signed up. And on there we have t-shirts, jackets, we have hats, we have bags, we have stickers, and we also have a bunch of free stuff at the office. So if you're ever looking to upgrade your apparel, upgrade your, not so much print marketing, but like swag bag marketing, just let me know. We have lots of stuff and I'm happy to direct you to our, online closet.
Okay. Any other questions before I'm going to share something? No? Okay. Do you find this kind of interaction, talking about the market is doing, beneficial?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you see yourselves doing anything differently moving forward with how you run your business? So if you keep doing exactly the same thing that you have been doing the last 6 months, you're going to get the same result. So if you're happy with that result, keep doing what you're doing. However, if you are ready to succeed, okay, it doesn't matter what I tell you what the market's doing if you're not going to change what you're doing. Okay, so right now, here are my points on how to win in this market. Okay, presentation alone without compassion will not win. Okay, so even if you start prospecting and you start having presentations, if all you're doing is presenting and not being compassionate about the way you present, you will not win. If you looked at my email, and when we went through it, one of the comments, and I didn't share that with you until now, is he called me by phone. And he said, I can tell you love your job. Right? So if you're not compassionate about what you're doing, it's going to be real hard to succeed. Okay, so it means you might have to change your mindset. Do your actions that you do actually show that you're compassionate about it? Or are you just going through the steps? Consumers will know. All right. And The reason that your actions are important is because that's how you actually build trust with the consumer. So if you are going to tell somebody you're going to get something to them by a certain time, make sure you do. Right? If you are going to drop something off to somebody, make sure you do. Right? Your actions are going to build the trust. Okay? Everybody hates schedules. I haven't found one person that loves schedules to a point where this is exactly, okay? But consistency wins. So you have to get comfortable with booking and filling in your schedule, okay? If you look around at all big successful businesses, do you think they fly by the seat of their pants? They have schedules, they have projections, they have continuous accountability meetings, right? You need to as well, right? You're running your own small business. You need to have that, okay? Also, the thing that you have to keep in mind, is it the market or is it the perception of the market? Okay, deals are happening, okay? If you have inventory, you win. And that means if you have listings, you win. You have qualified buyers, you win. Okay. If you do not prospect, okay, you don't prospect at all, you will fail. Okay. So how do you win the trust? We've covered a lot of it today. Be knowledgeable, right? Be knowledgeable. Share, don't tell. Don't tell somebody, share the information with them using third-party support and backup. Let them discover it for themselves, but you guide them there. You know, how do you feel yourselves when you go, you know what? I get this. Yeah, this makes sense, versus somebody telling you something, right? So a couple things we covered off, I'm just sort of recapping, is between now and the next 6 months, get investors to buy something. Communicate with investors, explain the situations, explain some of the history, what the market has done. You know, Callum had a great example. If you can, I recommend you buy something for yourself. Look at buying a property. The opportunities are there. Okay. Promote investment in real estate and talk about it before, and then your point should be, invest in real estate now before it rises. The other thing you should be promoting is to existing homeowners that are looking at moving up to something bigger. Right now, if you look at where the market was, the gap between a larger home and a smaller home actually shrunk. Prices came down. So when that happens, the percentage of the higher one, that gap shrunk. Then when the prices start going back up, that gap is going to rise. Perfect storm right now is that gap has shrunk because prices came down. Interest rates are falling. Two great factors on why you should be promoting to consumers about moving up. Okay. So to me, those are the points that I recommend that you look at doing, is talking about those. Next 6 months is going to be great market if you're working it. So, and sometimes, everybody feels a little bit alone out there working in the real estate side. We will be doing more of these sessions. But what I want to offer each and every one of you is, if you're serious about it, okay, I will work one-on-one with anybody that wants to get committed. I'll become your personal coach. We will build out a plan for you. And between Michelle and I, we will help you stay on track. So if you are interested in that, wherever you are, it doesn't matter. reach out to Michelle after the meeting and we'll get the process, but you have to be serious about it. And that's all I have to say today. I'll open the floor to questions on any topic whatsoever. Any thoughts, comments? Yeah, Julia?
I have a question for you. It's not related to the meeting subject, but it's just a cool real estate question. So I put this condo on the market for lease the other day, and my client, who is very analytical, she's a lawyer, has gone through all the different third-party apps like condos.ca, properties.ca, strata.ca, et cetera, just to make sure they're all showing it. I explained how it worked, but she does that. So one of the profiles has shown her property smaller than it is, even though I've stated what the square footage is, which is 588 plus a balcony. They're showing it at 522, like in the words they're using 522 on the listing. And I don't know why that's happening, but she's unhappy about it. So I wrote the broker a record, and I asked him, I gave him the MPAC, I gave him the floor plan, and asked him if he could adjust it. But the problem is his algorithm feed, whatever it is that loads strata.ca, keeps putting in 522. So it's undersizing her property. And and it's a bit frustrating because a unit a few floors up was on the market and they overstated. They included the balcony, so it brought it over 600 square feet, which we all know you're not supposed to do that. And I didn't do that, and she didn't want me to do that. She's very rulesy. Good client for me. She's very rulesy. But I don't know how to fix this strata problem that's driving, like she's texting me 5 times a day over it.
Who's the brokerage?
It's strata.ca.
Okay.
So I think it's real. It's part of LePage. And I spoke to the broker record. Very, very nice young man.
Okay. First of all, they're getting their feed for that property through an IDX feed.
Yep.
Through the Toronto Real Estate Board. Okay.
Yeah.
Contact the Toronto Real Estate Board. Explain to them you've already talked to the broker of record, and that they are violating the IDX agreement.
Okay.
Okay. So in the IDX agreement, you cannot alter the information. You're only allowed to display the information as the feed is given. And let them know, and just then to basically say, either Trev needs to stop their IDX feed because they're in violation, or they have to remove that listing.
Got it.
But it all has to do with the IDX feed.
Okay.
Because they've taken the information and altered it.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't matter if it's a third-party system, whoever, and you may want to send the email to the broker of record stating that first and CC me on it, because they are in violation of the IDX agreement by altering the information.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? I do have an announcement, by the way. We have a new realtor in our company. Michelle just got a license this morning.
Hey, congratulations.
That's awesome, Michelle. Congrats.
Thank you.
You
That's
go, girl.
awesome.
Thank you.
Well done.
I'm very excited, very happy to be on the roster with all of you and
Our future
finally
broker
able
of
to answer
record.
questions.
So we are really happy to have you here.
Time to
And
retire,
there.
Scott. Not retire.
No one's
become the
retiring yet.
I'm glad you joined this brokerage. It's a wonderful brokerage. Let me tell you all about it. It's wonderful.
Yeah, let's just do an open house so she knows. Yeah.
Lots of
Perfect.
training now.
Yeah. So which is great. So
Awesome.
if there's nothing else, hopefully you found this information valuable. I will be away. I leave Wednesday, so I'm going to be out of the country for a couple of weeks. But actually, you want to reach out to Michelle. If you do want to start the one-on-one, let me know. And I appreciate everybody being here today and sharing. We
Thanks,
all
Scott.
learn when everybody shares. So, okay.
Take care.
All right.
Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
trip.
Later. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.